How important is NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, in the general scheme of things? Henry Kissinger, former Secretary of State for President Richard Nixon, put it this way, quote, "It will represent the most creative step towards a new world order taken by any group of countries since the end of the Cold War. The revolution sweeping the Western Hemisphere points to an international order based on cooperation. It is this revolution that is at stake in the ratification of NAFTA. What Congress will have before it is not a conventional trade agreement, but the architecture of a new international system." The Los Angeles Times, July 18, 1993. With these statements, we see a couple of things that Kissinger says. Number one, that NAFTA is a major step towards bringing these United States into a world government, and he seems to have known 10 years before anybody else that the Americas was going Marxist. And that's literally what's happening south of the border. Country after country after country after country is going Marxist, to put a nice connotation on it. So he seemed to understand that revolution was already occurring and wanted to have us part of it. To pave the road to the New World Orders, tribunals have been set up by NAFTA, which have placed a layer of jurisprudence over and above our country's courts system. In an article in the New York Times in April 18, 2004, a variety of legal minds were aghast at the implications. John D. Echeverria, law professor at Georgetown University, said this, quote, of the NAFTA tribunals, "This is the biggest threat to the United States judicial independence that no one has ever heard of and even fewer people understand," unquote. Peter Spiro, law professor, Hofstra University, quote, "You have an international tribunal essentially reviewing American court judgments," unquote. Finally, in your own state, Chief Justice Ronald George of the California Supreme Court said this, quote, "It is rather shocking that the highest courts of the state and federal governments could have their judgments circumvented by these tribunals." So we see the architecture of a new international system, higher than our state and federal courts. This is NAFTA, and it is only the beginning of the problem of NAFTA. A case in point is what's happening in North Carolina right now. There is a coalition of unions from the United States, Mexico, and Canada that has gone to a NAFTA tribunal to challenge the right to work laws in North Carolina. You know what, if they have to appeal that, you know who they appeal to? The International Court. Not the Supreme Court, not the state court, and they can be forced to have those laws overturned through these tribunals. That is the problem we're dealing right now with NAFTA. What we are witnessing in so many threats to our country are the effects of NAFTA. The Security and Prosperity Partnership, or North American Union. The NAFTA Free Trade Corridors are just two that come out of NAFTA. In addition, our free trade agreements such as CAFTA and the former FTAA are all founded on the grandfather of them all, NAFTA. Once both houses of Congress approved NAFTA, they gave NAFTA a blank check and a blank piece of paper to do whatever they wanted to do in the name of free trade. That's literally what's happening. You go and look at everything that's going forward at an international scale in the United States today, you will see NAFTA, 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 the press releases, all the reports, everything else, it's all founded on NAFTA. This is a clue. What we have to do in order to stop these things is to withdraw from NAFTA. Simply put, we cannot stop immigration, the North American Union, preserve the Constitution, work through Congress, or any other aspect of our struggle until we get rid of NAFTA. Because it's becoming the law of the land. It's already the law of the land. It's carte blanche law. And a lot of people don't realize that until you get in and look at all the documents that are carrying this internationalism forward in this country. Worse, I think that these tribunals could even be used to shut down private initiatives such as the Minutemen if they really wanted to. I mean, they've got that kind of power now. They're just not ready to use that power yet. They're doing it incrementally, slowly. It's just like Gulliver and the Lilliputians. NAFTA is slowly laying those little cords on the giant of the American public, and the American public is generally asleep. They're tossing in their sleep a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed that. They're beginning to wake up a little bit. They don't really know what's bothering them. Something's bothering them, and they don't feel those cords yet, but they kind of sense that there's something laying there that they don't like. And what we have to do is find the best means to inform them what's wrong, organize them, and then move ahead. Isaiah said it so well. Therefore my people have gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. We have to bring that knowledge to them. The people have allowed their eyes to be diverted, thinking that NAFTA was an economic thing, and it's not. It's a freedom thing. And that's what we have to show them. A slave is a slave is a slave, and a slave by any other name is still a slave. Pardon me, Gertrude Stein, but the thing is that a lot of people don't recognize that yet, and we're going to have to show that to them. That what we see in NAFTA is the strings of slavery. The bottom line is this: if we do not get rid of NAFTA, everything else we do will be for naught. We cannot stop the North American Union unless we get rid of NAFTA. Because if we could stop the North American Union, they could put a different name on it. They might not put a name on it at all, but keep the initiative going forward, slowly tightening the regulations, slowly merging medical services and steel regulations and all the transportation lanes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So one day you wake up and realize we've merged and you didn't even know it. So we've got to get rid of NAFTA. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it the same way we've done it in the past. First of all, through good organization and leadership. Secondly, good tools for you to put to use. And three, the determination to get the job done. Now there's a fourth thing, actually, and that is we have to target the opinion molders. That does not mean we don't care about the man on the street. We do. He's the person we're trying to save. But the person who's going to stop NAFTA is our local official, the local Boy Scout leader, the local Kiwanian, the local member of the Chamber of Commerce, the local union leader, the local firefighter, those people that run the community. They are the people we are going to have to target. They are the people we are going to have to convince. They are the people who will get the job done once they understand the problem. And we help them organize. So our campaign will be geared for them. We're already seeing moves among various Americans that they realize that NAFTA is the problem. We need to build on that understanding. The timetable for the implementation of the North American Union is the year 2010. We stopped them in '76. We played a major role in stopping them in 2000, and then again with the FTAA timetable. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, we can do it again. Believe me, there's nothing more paranoid than a crooked politician exposed. And believe me, when you start exposing these people for what they really are, they cut and run. It's their modus operandi. But we are running out of time. And so let's get started preparing ourselves now for a very interesting few years and put everything we can into the fight.